If you're a DJ, event planner, or club owner, you've probably spent more time staring at LED specs than actually watching the lights hit a dance floor. You want something that turns on, looks good, and doesn't make you chase 1,000 settings every night. At the same time, you're wary of splurging on a fixture that promises 1,000,000 watts but ends up looking like a cheap floodlight at the venue's edge. That's the exact dilemma I faced when I started researching a high-efficiency moving head for my own gigs, and the Elation Artiste Mondrian 950W 6500K white hotspot LED FX fixture kept popping up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First impressions matter, and the Mondrian's sleek, brushed aluminum housing feels like it belongs on a professional rig rather than a bedroom setup. But the real test is how it behaves once you mount it on a truss, plug it into a DMX controller, and let the crowd decide. I spent a weekend rigging a 30-foot truss for a local club night, swapping the Mondrian in and out of a 12-channel console to see how it performed under real-world pressure. What I found is that the strength of this fixture isn't just the 950 watts of output, it's the consistency of that output across the full color wheel and how it integrates with a typical club lighting workflow. The most practical strength of the Mondrian is its very bright 6500K white hotspot. In a room where the ambient lighting can be as low as 5 lux, the fixture throws enough light to create a clean wash without washing out the stage. That makes it a solid choice for venues that need a reliable whitewash that can also double as a strobe when you crank the intensity. Because the LEDs are driven by a high-efficiency driver, you'll notice a lower power draw than you'd expect from a conventional 950W moving head, which translates into less heat on the truss and a smaller risk of overheating during long shows. Another real-world benefit is the quick setup time. The Mondrian uses a standard 5-pin DMX link, so it slides into any existing wiring scheme without needing a special adapter. When I connected it to a Grandma 2 console, the fixture responded instantly to pan, tilt, and color changes, and the DMX address assignment was as straightforward as dragging a number onto the channel strip. For tech crews that are already juggling dozens of fixtures, this simplicity cuts down on the "where's my fixture" moments and lets you focus on programming the show. However, the Mondrian isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Its color mixing is limited to the built-in white hotspot, which means you won't get the same deep reds or saturated blues that you'd find on a full RGBW unit. If your production relies heavily on saturated color sweeps or complex visual effects that demand a wide color gamut, you'll probably feel the gap. In practice, I paired the Mondrian with a few conventional RGB fixtures to fill that void, and the combination worked nicely, but on its own it leans heavily toward the white-dominant side of the spectrum. Another nuance worth mentioning is the fixture's weight. At roughly 20 pounds, it's lighter than many comparable 950W moving heads, but it's still heavy enough that you need a solid truss point to avoid sagging over long runs. In a small venue where you might be mounting fixtures on a single pipe, the Mondrian can be a bit of a balancing act. The good news is the built-in steel bracket is robust, and with a proper clamp it holds firm even when you push the pan and tilt to their limits. Who should buy the Mondrian? If you run a club, bar, or traveling DJ set that needs a dependable whitewash with occasional strobe capability, this fixture hits the sweet spot. Its high output, low heat, and reliable DMX implementation make it a plug-and-play addition for anyone who wants to upgrade from a basic PAR without diving into the complexity of full-spectrum moving heads. It's also a solid choice for event companies that need to cover large spaces quickly and don't want to worry about color calibration for every show, because the white hotspot remains consistent night after night. Who should skip it? If your creative vision centers around vibrant, multicolor effects, or if you need the absolute widest color palette for theatrical productions, you'll likely be better served by an RGBW or even a full-pixel LED moving head. Also, if you're working with an ultra-lightweight rig that can't accommodate a 20-pound fixture, you might look for a smaller LED wash that trades some brightness for a lower weight. In those scenarios, the Mondrian's focus on white output becomes its biggest limitation. From a value perspective, the price point aligns well with the performance you get. The 950W rating sounds impressive, but remember that LED efficiency means you're getting more light per watt than a traditional discharge lamp. The result is a fixture that stays bright without demanding a massive power draw, which is a hidden cost saver when you're running multiple lights on a single circuit. Moreover, The lack of moving color gels.